Philly sports love and pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
Swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup. For the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Cozy little Christmas here with you.
Oh yeah, it's the holidays.
Just you and me under the tree.
Oh yeah. I don't even care if we're gonna get copyright things sent to us because we don't give a shit because it really doesn't matter.
The jolliest.
Look at us.
The jolliest
It is.
side of the skookle. Let's go.
You are not lying here, brother. It is. Happy holidays to everybody.
Feliz Navidad, everyone. Feliz Navidad.
Whatever you're celebrating this holiday season, it's a good time to be the Birds.
It is a great time to be the Birds, Don.
The Birds are an absolute wagon, rolling through this holiday season, dropping off W's at everybody's houses.
There it is.
Yeah, buddy. It's just amazing. What a ride, guys! What a ride! I mean, look where we are. Look at what we just did to a Mike Tomlin coach team. Like, look at that. Okay, people want to say George Pickens wasn't there, and stop us.
I got news for you.
You couldn't even hold.
Nothing would have happened even if George Pickens was there.
Oh yeah, George Pickens would have got shut down in a heartbeat. Like I don't see. I really didn't see the Eagles losing the game anyway. Like they're on that cruise control train of which way do you want us to beat you? Because you pissed off Jalen, you made up the bullshit with AJ, and then he just showed you, okay, well I can still sling the rock around. My boys are still going to catch it. We had two wide receivers with over 10 targets apiece, 100 yards apiece, and a touchdown. And Saquon wasn't really effective on the ground because he's like, you know what? Let's beat you through the air. Let's beat you through the air now. Let's see what we got.
To quote my quarterback, is that what y'all wanted to see?
Is that what you wanted to see? I hate the fact that people were giving him shit for it, Don. Like, Dominique Foxworth was like, oh, does he think he is Josh Allen? It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Who is the other guy? The other guy calling he's got pretty boy privilege or some bullshit like that? Like,
it was the same guy.
It was Dominique.
Was it the same guy?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. Listen, all I know is that the Phillies have lost a game more recently than the Eagles have.
About that. That's wild.
Right? The Phillies lost a game on October 9th. The last time the Birds have lost is Sunday, September 29th.
Yep.
That's outrageous.
It's crazy.
Right? That is outrageous. And it's not just that they're winning games, it's the way that they're winning games and the way that they have played in this stretch. And with all of the focus on the offseason being on the big additions on offense with Saquon, the defense has carried the squad.
Yeah.
The defense has literally shut teams down. And it's almost like Vic Fangio needed those first 4 weeks to be able to figure out who does what. But when you look at the way that they utilize their players,
yes.
I mean, they are literally utilizing everybody to the best of their ability. And it's like, oh, you do this well? Cool. You're going to just do that. Oh, Zach Vaughn, you do this well? Good. You're just doing that.
How's he not have a contract, Don?
What are they waiting for? Christmas time. Come on.
Come on. Make a Christmas miracle happen.
Come on, Howie.
Pay that.
I heard. Who did I hear? I think I heard Baldy talking about this, and the comp was like when he said it, it literally clicked. Zach Bond is kind of like what Mike Vrabel was for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like special teams guy on a previous team, bring him in, elevate him to a role. Has never played that role before, and then shines in that role. I mean, Zach Bond is like. I mean, I think that's the Christmas gift we all kind of need, just
Yeah,
to be able to lock that dude up,
linebacker.
put that present under the bird's tree, and just the way that they dismantled this Pittsburgh team. They ran 11 plays in the second half. The Eagles ran a 21 play, 10-minute drive to end the game.
End the game.
That last.
They ran more plays on that drive than Pittsburgh ran in that entire half.
Yeah, and they didn't even score.
Right? They punt that ball with 10 plus minutes left with 3 timeouts. And you never see the ball again. They just run away and hide.
Bully ball, boys, bully ball.
What they did to that
The
defense.
newer version of the Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah. What they did to that defense all game, like that's a Mike Tomlin tough one of like we all know Pittsburgh is a good team. Like I'm not going to go out there and say Pittsburgh's frauds because they are coached by one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and they are tough as nails. The Eagles
Buried them.
literally buried them. Just kept doing whatever they wanted. And that last drive, the 21 play drive to end the game, was just a thing of beauty. It's you play keep away. And that's what the Eagles showed. Eagles showed you they don't have to score on a 10-minute drive to win the game. They will just control the clock, control the ball, and win the game. Like they didn't do anything spectacular besides execute. And that's what you want. You want to keep the ball away from, when you get into the playoffs, the Jared Goffs, the Jordan Loves, I don't know, whoever the fuck else is going to make it. I'm not really worried about the West because the West is trash. Not worried about the South because the South is trash. But it's like mainly this is what you're going to have to do to beat really, really good teams, especially if you get to the Super Bowl and you're facing a Mahomes. You got to make sure that, you have that 21-minute or that 21 play drive at the end of the game so you don't give this guy the ball with 2 minutes and a timeout left because you know what Patrick Mahomes can do.
Right.
That game spoke volumes because Pittsburgh is such a good team. Even without their best offensive weapon, they are always a threat because how they're coached and how their defense can play. And they lost the turnover battle and won.
Yeah.
That's called overcoming. And they outscored them by 238 yards. Or out-yarded them, outgained them, whatever we want to say.
And
what a performance.
Shut out.
What a performance.
Yeah.
Speechless.
I mean, there's not much to say other than to say they absolutely dominated from the jump. Even like you're saying, even losing the turnover battle. Do you know that they don't have an interception in their defense? Like their corners don't have an interception this year.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe
and they still dominate.
Yep.
They don't throw the ball to the teams don't throw the ball to the outside and pick on pick on our corners. So I could see them going to the middle of the field, and that's why our safeties, because I know Reed has one, I think Reed has 2, CJ I think has one.
Right.
I think one of our linebackers has one. I know.
Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn. The Eagles' defense.
Oh, and Dean. Dean had the pick in the end zone.
Dean had the pick in the end zone.
True.
Yeah, they don't pick on our. Well, they pick on Darius Slay every game. They don't pick on Quinyon Mitchell. And
but I'll tell you what. But as much shit as we gave Slay early in the year, he has played better.
He has
recently.
Yeah,
Quinyon Mitchell.
We were at the Carolina game, and I think he had given up a play or two, but then he came back when it mattered most. He made that stop on the pass to break up on 4th down. So he definitely He always makes amends. He might give something up, but he's always there to make up for it.
And thank Xavier Leggett for dropping the wide open pass
Yeah.
Also true.
that he got cooked on. So there we go.
We made a stop. No, the ground made a stop.
Yeah.
But listen, when we talk about those,
Yeah.
the reason why the Steelers only run 11 plays in the second half, right? Their last 3 drives, 13 plays, 47 yards, 7 minutes. 13 plays, 74 yards, 6.5 minutes. And then the 21 play, 88-yard drive to end the game. And it's an 88-yard drive because there was a penalty mixed in, but that drive started on the what? On the 2, the 3?
Yep.
Like it was they took their soul.
Yeah.
And we
They-
get to do the same thing in Washington.
They bring it to the other team. You know,
Oh, most definitely.
their mindset after the bye, their mindset after they were 2-2, and we didn't know which way this team was going to go. They, something, so the light went off. Their whole mentality changed on, we can't end up like last year. We were riding high, we were winning games, but they weren't on the same page. People, there was still drama, there were still issues, and then we saw what happened. After they were 10-1, and then they still had the bitter taste in their mouth from losing the Super Bowl. So they've been there, they've been in the fire, they've been down, up, and then they've been down, down and out. So I think that this team is built for. I think they're built for everything. They're built for anything and everything. And you do, I mean, as much as we got on Nick and how he was with on the sideline, or how he was with the team, and how he was going to rally them and get them back on track. I mean, all the guy does is win. All the guy does
But Joe, right at the beginning of the year, rightfully so. Right, the beginning of the year, those first couple games, there were a lot of questionable decisions in game, on the sidelines, and I think you had, as a fan, you had every right to sit there and say, "What are you doing?" Like I was sending out tweets going, "Fire him into the sun," because it looked terrible. Like,
Still
but it. Rich, I know you're still there.
Still on it.
He's killing
But
us.
but it seems like in the course of the last 10 games since the bye, that he's kind of fell into a good groove in terms of really figuring out how to be that CEO coach, that Mike Tomlin, Jim the Harbaugh, like that mold of like just manage the players, manage the game. And I think you saw a little bit of that with the Jalen Carter penalty, right? Really frustrated with him at the beginning, voices his opinion. Clint Hurt, who is about 497 pounds, steps in and goes, "We handled it. We got it. Don't worry about it." And then you see the image later in the game with them, hugging it out. Like you see that, like he's really starting to try to figure out how to navigate that scenario. And I think it really does translate on. It's translating onto on-field success, right? And Rich, you're the guy that you were talking about earlier, right? Quinion Mitchell, right? The stat line that I saw on PFF, right? 213 receiving yards allowed in his first 4 games. In the last 10, he's allowed just 152.
Yeah, which is pretty incredible.
And you're talking about a guy who's run, essentially starting to separate himself, even though he doesn't have the statistical numbers. I think he's got the on-field reputation that it's translating into that defensive rookie of the year conversation.
It's just hard for him to put up like those interception numbers and the tackles and all that when no one targets your side. It's more or less what he does, not what the stat sheet fills out. Like, yeah,
True.
you can get a guy. Like, that's the thing that I don't really like when you see, oh, this guy, he's leading the league in interceptions. Yeah, it was the same thing with Trayvon Diggs. Diggs had 11 interceptions and 4 touchdowns that one year. And, oh, he's such a great corner. It's like, no, he's not. Like, he's getting picked on because he falls for the double move all the time. Just
right.
How many times, if you're targeted 13 times a game, you might end up with an interception. You might end
True.
up in the right place at the right time. You might take one to the crib. Yeah, that's going to happen. You're going to
Right.
lead some statistical categories because everybody's challenging you. No, they're not doing that to Quinyon Mitchell. Like, they're looking at Quinyon Mitchell's way and realize, all right, he's got my dude on lock. He has a bunch of pass breakups. That's great. He had a few. He could have had like 3-4 interceptions by now that he dropped. But again,
Yeah.
he's a cornerback. He's not a wide receiver. It's not like it's AJ Brown dropping passes. No, it's a corner dropping passes. Shit fucking happens.
That's why they play defense, right?
That's why they play defense. If we had a relying on the BR slot guy, we would just call him Quez, and that would be.
Oh.
I mean, let's
Quez getting coal in the stocking this time of year.
yeah, you know Quez.
He's
Quez
on
is,
the team.
I think Quez is still on Pittsburgh's practice squad.
Is he?
I think that's where he is. But it's just, it's been great to see. It's been great to be a part of it. Another thing we got to touch on is, if the Eagles are beating teams, well coached, good teams this bad, and surviving the refs, you can tell that they have, this in the bag. Because I'm kind of over it. I'm over watching Jalen Carter week after week after week get dragged down by his freaking neck and then still getting up and almost making a play. It's happened at least when I'm watching the game, maybe 8 times a game, that this man has an arm under his neck, which I'm pretty sure is a hold, or a hand under his face mask, getting thrown to the ground, and he's still up and a half step behind a quarterback or a running back. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy how well he's. Imagine how well the Eagles would be more suited, and especially with field position, if Jalen Carter wasn't drugged down by his neck 8 times a game, or they just called 3 of those penalties. Like,
Yeah.
it's egregious at this point. Like, it's gone so far for them not to call it and to have referees stand there. That's why I'm so excited for next year when they're actually going to review the face mask, because of the Sam Darnold safety when they lost to the Rams, when he had his face ripped off right in front of, or the 3 on Joe Burrow to lose the game,
Yeah.
and Mike Gesicki getting fucked. It's the refereeing in this league is trash.
It's bad.
You get rid of these 70-year-old fucking refs who can't see shit that's right in front of their face, and
Right.
just do what baseball's going to do, and just
Yeah.
automate it. Have everything looked at from up top.
Just the eye, just the eye in the sky, right? Everybody, like, they got enough cameras. They got enough people. I think it can be done. I don't know if they'll ever want to take the human element out of it, but an offshoot of the
And the hip drop tackle.
well, you saw that.
They've
You saw
called
that on Sunday.
0.
I don't think they've called any.
The NFL has called 0 hip drop penalties this year. When they
Yeah.
implemented it to keep players safe, Joe Mixon got hurt on it twice, and then you saw it on AJ Brown on the outside. 0. The NFL was called 0. They want the game to be safer, but they're also not policing the rules that they're putting in place.
Is he playing tomorrow?
Stupid.
Is he definitely playing tomorrow? Or we still don't
Who,
know.
AJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ, he's a full go.
They gave
Yeah.
him full no question.
I mean, he gave himself the full go yesterday. I think the quote was, "How's your hip?" He goes, "I'm playing."
Yeah, nice.
There's only 2 players not playing, and it's Covey and it's Huff.
Yeah.
And Sidney Brown is questionable, but he's expected to play. There's only the only 2 of them are out.
Okay.
But you Rich, to speak to the effect of how effective Jalen Carter is in terms of causing havoc and getting in the backfield and creating. He's just the chaos coordinator, right? And that chaos coordination has a dramatic effect on everybody else, right? You look at his effect on the space that creates for the linebackers. You got Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond with 100+ tackles and 3+ sacks, right? You see Milton Williams, he's got 19 tackles, 5 sacks, a forced fumble, 6 tackles for loss, right? You see the effectiveness of Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat and how they're able to, you see Nolan Smith really coming into his own. It took him a little bit, right? He had to go back in the meat closet to get seasoned a little bit, but He's coming out, and it's real. This year seems like it's really like his coming out party. Like he's really got this. He's figured out what he's done, and I think when they open up the
Meat
what?
Grow up,
No, listen,
grow up, Rich.
That's what we used to call my
Listen.
girl.
Get his meat right, Rich. Leave him. Come on, just keep.
listen.
Stay with.
He said meat closet. Come on,
Oh
man.
my god.
Tell me I'm not gonna laugh on that.
I'm fine.
Ah,
I'm
well,
looking
listen.
at the
You're
whole time. Gotta go back
you're,
in the
you're,
meat
you
closet. Throw some salt on them. Like what? What, Don? What? Fucking meat
listen.
closet.
I think you've got the opportunity to bring Huff off the. You're bringing him that practice window's open. I really hope that they decide to utilize him in the same way that he got utilized in New York, right? Third down, let him run at the quarterback, like set him out wide, give him time and space to kind of get after the quarterback. I think you can line him up on the same side as Jalen Carter, and and anything that you can do to be able to, because right now they're rotating three guys. So I think as soon as he's healthy, that's a guy that you gotta expect. But something caught my eye this week with the comments with Myles Garrett, and that had me intrigued because
What'd he say?
he's basically saying
You
I'm not
you
here
like
for a rebuild. I don't want to be around. I'm not here to wait around. I want to be part of a winner.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, you said what?
Yeah, what? You want to be with us? Yeah.
Howie Roseman,
Are you listening?
Cleveland.
No.
We'll give you next year's draft. I would get.
The whole
I would. I would. I know they would never do it, but
No.
like his ability to be able to create chaos. Imagine putting Myles Garrett on the same line, right? If your front line is Myles Garrett, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith,
Good Lord. Have fun.
that would be a Howie Roseman move, though, right?
Yeah.
Like just package like a pile of picks, like picks in 2032, 2035, like 10 years down the line. It just had me intrigued. I was like, ooh,
If you can do it, it can be done. Like you got a
right.
bunch of these guys who are gonna do that. And let's be real. If you want to go to a true contender, like there are not that many teams besides us, Baltimore, Buffalo, and
Kansas
you
City.
see Detroit. Like
Right.
there's not that many teams. Like you look around the league, I still don't think the Vikings are that good. And you should be able to pry like a Myles Garrett, a Max Crosby, like some of these guys who are not going to be parts of rebuilds and be like,
Mm-hmm.
just take a one for him. Like you're not going to get better. Like look some of these trades that are being made and like we're just saying hey let's give ones and some of these guys get traded for like twos and threes because it's like fuck it you got to get rid of them because they're not going to play for you so you take
Right.
like kind of your best offer but you're in such a good position that you can be like hey man take this one it's a back end one give us Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett's going to be better than any one of those ones that you're going to draft
You know exactly what. Yep.
at that
Right.
at that point in the draft so just go get them like at this point like you follow the Rams and what the Rams did. You trade for guys in their peak when they got Jalen Ramsey, they got all these guys, and they won a Super Bowl off of it. Like that's what you have to do if you want to build this roster. We have plenty of youth. We just need some experience and guys who are actually poised to play at those positions that are just going to be
Right.
up. We don't have time. Like we're in a very good window of these young players that we have. If you can bring in two seasoned guys, one guy to get at the ball and another guy to maybe anchor down, I don't know, the third linebacker spot or another safety. Like I love you, Reed. Like nothing against you, but like if these are the guys that you can have help finalize his defense because your offense is set. You don't need to touch your offense. But shout out to Mekhi Becton, bro.
Yeah.
Shout
Right.
to this dude playing a hell of a job at guard. Like it is amazing. Jeff Salmon, if he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, for what he does to players and how he gets them inspired and renews their career, and just will take a project like Jordan Mailata and a guy like Mekhi Becton who nobody wanted and makes our whole line could be all pro. Our whole line could be pro bowlers.
I mean, Rich,
Thank you, Jeff
you
Stout.
look at you look at this offensive line, this right. You've gotten production from Fred Johnson, right? You've gotten spot production from Tyler Steen.
Yeah.
You've seen Tyler Steen play both right and left guard, right?
Mhm.
You've seen Landon Dickerson slide over to center when Jurgens had to go out. You've seen Fred Johnson play both right and left, right? You've seen offensive line like that doesn't happen. Like I think we almost I don't want to say we don't appreciate it, but we're kind of like in the middle of like, don't appreciate it and take it for granted
Yeah.
because it just happens so efficiently that
All the
like you
time.
just plug the next guy in, bring the next guy in, and you're seeing how much of an effect that has on the run game and how effective the run game is, how that translates to the passing game, and how effective that makes Jalen Hurts in the pot. Like when you talk about, I think his effectiveness to be able to get the ball out quickly this last game, just really impressive, right? And you know, and I look at,
Yeah.
I'm looking at Hurts and going like, you know, he's the fifth quarterback since 1950 with at least 3 career winning streaks of 10 or more,
It's crazy. Craziness.
right? In good company with John Elway, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes,
Pretty good.
right? Like he's figuring out ways to win games, and I don't think you could ask for anything more going like the way that they have kind of rebounded from the way that last season ended. I think we're getting a glimpse at how bad the culture was in that locker room at the end of last year.
Yeah, and I
And
think
then the opposite right now, right? How like this team looks like the team that was on its way to Minnesota a couple years ago.
We still have no idea what happened to James Bradbury.
oh
Yo,
he's
all right, hold on. James Bradbury,
They're all out.
right? He has redefined the 6 to 8 week injury window.
Yeah.
More like the 6 to 8 month injury window.
6 to
They,
8.
they haven't even talked about him. It still amazes me when I type in James Bradbury and there's nothing besides his Wikipedia page. There's nothing. No news articles, no nothing. They're just like, yo, bro, stay home and get paid. Like they literally told this man, like, yo, motherfucker, stay away from the facility and just get paid. Like, we'll pay you the $13.5 million we owe you if you stay the fuck away.
I would.
Oh god.
Dude, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you stay away from the facility. We're gonna give you 13, 14 mil. Okay.
Yeah, and next year you'll be free to sign with whoever the fuck you want. So thanks.
Oh god.
Like, it's crazy if we win a Super Bowl that this man gets a ring for staying away from the team.
Yeah.
It shows you how detrimental some players are. I mean, looking around the league and the shit that you see, and it's all locker room stuff. You just saw, who was it?
Mhm.
Devontae Campbell from the 49ers to say, fuck this, yo, I'm out. Like, I'm not going in the game. Oh, now you
In the
need
middle of the game.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't going in.
Didn't start, and he wanted to start, and he was mad and upset.
Huffing and puffing. Yo, he's suspended for the rest of the season. Deontay Johnson, how terrible. Like, everything that Pittsburgh said about him was true. My man's a cancer. My man, like, he's not a team player. He goes to Carolina, has a few good games, gets traded to a contender, and then can't get on the field. And then says in the Eagles game, yo, I'm not playing. And then they waive him. And now everybody's going to look at him like, yo, you got traded. You got Steelers didn't want you. Carolina didn't want you. And then Harbaugh says, no, you're not good for a locker room. Dude, he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to be one of those guys who's 27 years old, has all the talent in the world, but is an asshole and sitting on the bench.
Right.
Like, it's crazy. Like, you got to get these guys out of your locker room for your team to succeed and for people.
Tom Reddick.
I mean, prime example, right? Look what happened in Buffalo. Right? You get rid of Diggs. And I mean, they get rid of not that Gabe Davis was a locker room cancer, but like you get rid of the ego of Diggs, and you see how that offense just explodes, and you also see Josh Allen's ability to be able to just like sling it all over the field.
Yep.
Yeah, because
They
there's
were
no
impressive.
and you don't have to worry about forcing a guy the ball. Like Stephon
Right.
Diggs, great wide receiver, but like if you look at what Buffalo is doing with Khalil Shakir, fucking Keon Coleman,
Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins,
Shoeless Mac.
these
Yeah,
guys have
hold on.
role.
He walked up to the stadium in the snow with no shoes.
It was like Antarctica.
He's a psycho, and I'm here for it. But you don't have to worry about it. Like Amari Cooper goes, that was the best. He was happy that he wasn't targeted. He's like, I don't care, man. He's like, I'm a
He's
10-year pro. I'm winning games. Like this
he's
is what I need. Like
yeah,
who gives a shit if I don't get targeted? Like we're winning.
we're winning. Hey, what's this like?
Yeah, I'm not used to this. I played for the
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Browns. Like, oh, this is what it feels like to be on a winning team. Cool. Throw my hands up.
Done.
Shout out to, and also a funny thing in the news, shout out to Woody Johnson's teenagers for having
Yeah.
put
All right, we got to talk
their
about this for a
decisions.
minute.
This is fucking hilarious. Joe, did you read that?
Yeah, what his name? What his name?
No, Woody Johnson's
Oh.
teenagers having influence in meetings and trades.
Oh yeah.
Jerry Judy didn't have a high
Oh,
enough Madden rating.
it wasn't.
Yeah, they used the Madden rating
Yeah.
to say they didn't want to trade for him. And then also there was a and Rich, I can't remember if this was part of that story or not, but there was a draft day trade where Woody Johnson refused to include the last pick in the draft because he wanted the notoriety of picking Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
And it held up a trade
Yeah. Woody Johnson, and it just shows
that
you
would have been like, it wasn't just like, oh, we want to swap like 7th round picks. Like
Yeah.
there were other like earlier round picks that would have been more beneficial to them.
But he
And
didn't.
Woody Johnson said no because he wanted the Mr. Irrelevant pick.
Yeah. I want to be known as the guy who took Mr. Irrelevant.
Maybe that's why the Jets are completely irrelevant.
Well, not maybe.
That's why they
that
are.
is why the state of New York football is why it is what it is.
It is hilarious.
Shout out to Woody though for naming his son Brick.
Brick Johnson. Brick Johnson. Fucking guy. That guy's in a meat locker.
Yeah.
Yo, Nolan, what's up, buddy?
Oh God.
Smoking meats,
Oh,
brother.
God.
Smoking meats. It's just, I don't know, man. It was just some funny ass articles and reading that Woody Johnson thing. And the fact that, like, you have your 2 teenage sons, like, leading meetings. Like, what? And then Joe Douglas, like, my boss is a teenager. And he just, like, laughed about it. Like, how could you work in an area like that? Yo, Adam, what's up, buddy? Yeah, it's
What's
just
up,
so. You wonder why some organizations and teams are like fucking dumpster fires, and then you wonder why some organizations are the Jets, and it's like that's why.
Yeah. And then you see shit like that.
Yeah, it's funny. Sorry, I had to throw that side because I was waiting to talk about that with you guys. Imagine being on a team, and then all of a sudden you're answering to a teenager who goes, "No, we're not trading for Jerry Judy. He's got a 72 in Madden. We're gonna go after this guy."
Is this really happening?
Oh, they passed.
I'm out.
They didn't want the offensive lineman that they signed because his awareness was too low in Madden, and ended up actually being a good thing for them because he turned into like one of their best offensive linemen. Like, imagine you're sitting there, and they're like, "Nah, man, your Madden rating's not high enough." It's like, wait, what the fuck? All right, here's what you're gonna do, coach. Go down in the roster settings on Madden, hit edit player, and just put everything to 99. And then now you can drag me.
How
Send you my updated roster.
how fitting is it that that's where Hassan Reddick went?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's just
I think he was a big reason why this team, one of the big reasons for this team to have issues last year.
I think there has to be causation of all that. Like,
He was a stat chaser.
He was a stat chaser, and he hung all of his teammates out to dry. And that was reported last year. It was reported that guys were just out there playing for their incentives and not playing team ball. And you saw it. As soon as Hassan Reddick started sack chasing and trying to pat his
Oh, yep.
everybody else was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And fuck it. Like, fuck the team.
Yep.
And you can tell because the defense looked like individual players trying to play a team sport. And that's why they sucked. Now you got a bunch of guys who bought in. You got CJGJ as your leader on defense who takes no shit from anybody.
Right.
Pretty much telling you, no, this is what we're going to do. And you're going to fucking like it. And Vic Fangio goes, well, do you want to be on the 3-year IR with James Bradbury? Because I can put you there if that's what you want. Or you can just fucking buy into this and we'll start kicking ass.
Right.
Pick one. Like, it's not rocket science when it comes to building a team or having chemistry. You just need everybody on the same page. You get rid of the cancers. You get rid of the Hassan Reddicks, the Bradburys, the constant complainers and habitual, like, line steppers. Shout out to you, Charlie Murphy, RIP. And just fucking send them away. And look how
Right.
good this team is and how just cohesive as a unit they are on all sides. And this is probably the first time watching the Eagles, not one of the first times, but the first time since like those early 2000 teams where we can say we have a top corner in the league, a top safety in the league, a top linebacker in the league, a top defensive lineman in the league, the best running back, one of the best wide receivers, and the best offensive line. Like, we have all pros at every single position this year. Multiple, if that. That is fucking wild.
Yep.
I mean, Rich, I would argue with you that you could, if you siloed every position group individually, top 7. Is there a group? Is there a position group that you have on the Eagles that you would put outside of the top 7?
I would say I would put them all top 5, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
You could say top 5. You could argue top 5, Don.
I mean, I'm trying to be conservative only because I'm not dialed into like every team's position group, but I would venture to guess that I would say that like you silo every position group and every position group individually when you match them up with the other team with all 31 other teams. I would tell you that they're conservatively in the top 7, top 5, top 7 in every position, which is why this team is an absolute wagon right now. And you can't, we've been saying it all year long, right? Pick your poison. You want to load the box and stop Saquon? AJ and Devontae. Oh, you want to let AJ and Devontae play one-on-one? Great. You're not going to load the box? Oh, Saquon, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, oh, like even when Goddard's out, right? Calcaterra steps in and he's making plays. Like you, and the way that they're making plays on defense, which is why, like the comments from Brian Robinson this week are absolutely hilarious. When he's saying in an interview that they think that player for player that they're a better team, that their record doesn't reflect how good they are. And I'm going, all right, like you're having delusions of grandeur here. Like I know that like in the room you got to tell yourself that, but like how do you go home and look yourself in the mirror and go position by position? Like I would tell you that like I'm looking at the Commanders, I'm looking at their depth chart, right? For the starting for the all 22 positions. I don't know that there's a player on there that I would pick at any position over any Eagles team. And I'm trying to take the green goggles off, but like when I look up and down, there's not a guy and go, oh, that guy, maybe.
Right.
So I don't know where you get that perspective. And is that enough bulletin board material, right? Is that enough for the Birds to run with and go, oh, really? Gotcha.
This.
Everybody, so like fantasy related, like people were saying that like Jalen Daniels is like a start of the week, and I go, in what fucking world?
How?
I'm like, we've seen what he did against the Eagles when he came here. Okay, he was banged up. He's going to be running for his life a lot. Yeah, who the fuck is he throwing to when Quinyon Mitchell is locking down Terry McLaurin? Like, I'm so confused by it. I'm like, what do they think is going to happen in this game? Do they really think it's going to be a competitive, like Washington's going to go out there and score 21? What's the over under, Don? Do you know what the over under is in this game?
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
I think the Eagles are favored, what, 6.5?
Let me pull it up. There we go.
Because let's look at the implied points. Like, I love doing this. Like, let's look at the implied points total.
All right, so the Eagles are getting 3.5.
All right, Eagles 3.5.
And then the over under is 45.5.
Okay, so it's 20.
21.
Yeah, 24-21. I don't see that. Like, I don't see Washington scoring 21 points. Like, where?
I mean, when you look at the Eagles have not in these last 10 games, they have only given up 20 or more points twice. They gave up 23 to Jacksonville and 20 to the Rams.
And way better, not Jacksonville.
And that was
right.
score,
And the other totals 16, 3, 17, 23, 6, 18, 20, 19, 16, 13. Like this Commanders game is not one that scares me. I'm not sure why it's got other people like, ooh, great. Like they're coming off a really tough game in Pittsburgh. And like
it wasn't that tough. We did what we needed to do. We ran
right.
Like
Vic Fangio essentially said, like, I got my pom-poms out and was like just keep going. Right? Because the
defense got
he didn't have to he had to call 11 defensive plays in the second half. Like
they're rested.
They
those guys are bored. They're hungry.
Right. They're like, yo, come on. Like, can we get on the fucking field, please? Like, I just they bounce back from like they're like, oh well, are you going to see a bounce back game like the one you saw from Carolina? Like, I'm like, I just don't see it. I don't see it, especially because there's still stuff on the line for them to play for.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right, they're still playing for that 1 seed.
Everybody wants.
So like, it's not like they're like, oh, 15-2, we got this wrapped up. We're going to take the last 3 weeks off, and it's a division game.
Yeah.
Right, and
division. You win.
And bear with me for a second. If they take care of business,
yep,
with Washington, Dallas, and New York, they're going to have the opportunity to have swept 2 divisions. That's like ungodly.
Yeah.
To be able to sweep 2 divisions, and you sweat like the fact that you were able to sweep the whole AFC, like that whole AFC, like you have just seen this team take care of business week after week after week, and I don't see the quit. I don't see them getting complacent.
No,
I see them really dialed in because I think that they're going to do the way that Washington's rush defense and the way that they were able to kind of have that run game be effective late in the game. Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to try to be dialed in to get Saquon this record.
And you're without your best defensive lineman and Jonathan Allen. Like,
right, he's not playing.
I don't see how. I don't like it in my eyes if it's 44.5 or 45. Like the Eagles are scoring 33 of those. So it's going to be 33-12. Like, I just don't. I'm trying in my mind, just trying to figure out a scenario where Washington. Look what we did to Baltimore and how we held them to 18 points.
Yep.
And the last touchdowns, it was really only 11. Because that last touchdown was a garbage time touchdown. Like, okay,
when you look at the finals, if you just looked at these final scores, the final scores are not indicative of the games, right? Because how many of these games did we see where scores were there were scores on the last minutes of drive, right? The game in LA was a lot closer than it looks because they score late, right? The Baltimore game, they score the touchdown late, right? They have opportunities, and like this Pittsburgh game, right? You that game could have been way out of hand.
Yeah.
Like if they score a touchdown or a field goal on that last play, right? Then we're talking about 34-13,
Right.
right? Like they turn the ball over twice, right? Those are both opportunities for more points. It was just this to me is a game where I look at and I go, this is a flex game.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if there are some post game quotes referencing some of the comments of Brian Robinson. And they got an opportunity to wrap up this division.
Who's a better team now, Brian?
I mean,
look
like
at it.
I think that they look for the opportunities to run the ball, to be effective early, score points, put the game away early, get the hats and t-shirts out of the boxes, put them on for the day, pack them up, wait for the next round of t-shirts and hats, and I think this is a flex game. I think this is like a 34-13, big Saquon. 200. I think this is a Saquon 200. I think this is another 200-yard game for him.
Wow.
I think there are a bunch of big runs late, like there were last time that salt the game away. But I think that happens early.
Yeah. What you got, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock that. I mean, I think it'll be a little bit closer than that, just because it's a division game. But I mean, this team is rolling at a level where they are able to maintain that bar and even raise the bar each week, because the whole team has adopted that defensive mentality. The offense
Mm-hmm.
adopted that defensive mentality. The coach, who was a boob for the beginning of the season, saying goofy shit and doing goofy shit, he's bought into the defensive bully ball mentality. So it's like you're the next one, you're the next roadblock in the way, and we're just gonna fucking steamroll you. I mean, if you listen to all these guys' clips on their side of the ball, like Landon Dickerson last week talking about the offensive line and taking it to the Steelers and being the tone setter. All these guys are saying the same thing. They're talking it and they're walking it. So, they don't need bulletin board material, but hey, if you want to throw that in there, we're gonna take it. We're gonna run with it, and we're
Right.
gonna we're gonna dominate, and we're gonna stick it down your throat, because that's what we do now. I mean, that's the identity, and that's what this team is all about now. They were searching for that at the beginning of the season. Obviously they figured it out. They found out, and they're riding with it and they're running with it. And it's a mentality. It's you see it on the field, you see it on their faces, and you can see it, when they're being interviewed. But it's about each other. It's not about the offense. It's not about the defense. It's not about the coach. It's about being one,
Yeah.
winning one, and taking it to the other team, not sitting back and seeing how the game goes. It's imposing and applying your will, especially the offensive line. Jalen Carter and this offensive line, they're road graders. They dominate one-on-one battles, double team, whatever it is. They set the tone from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. That's why these teams, third and fourth quarter, they're screwed, because it's like they're defeated. They've already packed it in. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep the train rolling this week down there in District of Columbia. 30-20, Philly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Washington absolutely sucks. Not holding back on this one. I mean, I'm just going to go off the score I said, 33-12. I just don't see it. I said it earlier, and I'll say it again in the season. They are Miami of last year. Miami of last year beat bad teams, did not beat one single team over 500. Here's the fun fact about Washington. When they beat the only team that is over 500, that team that is over 500 happened last week when they beat the Cardinals. And the Cardinals just got to 500. They have not beat a team with a winning record.
Yep.
They're beating up on bad teams. Hip hip hooray for you. You're doing what you should do. But you're not beating anybody with substance or any good teams. I'm sorry. Kyler Murray fucking sucks. All right? We all know this. My man is way too tiny and that helmet is way too big. It does not look proportionate on the field. I just don't like it. Jaden Daniels is going to be good.
Real
Yes,
life
he is. He's got big ass head, like that fucking helmet
bobblehead.
body. It does looks like a bobblehead, or like when you like would be an NFL blitz and you play in big head mode. Like
Yep.
that's exactly what it looks
Yes.
like. Yeah, like that's Kyler Murray.
You know who designed that?
Oh, that's great.
You know who designed that game?
Who?
Woody Johnson's kid.
Dude, Woody Johnson's kid is going to draft himself. Watch, he's just going to enter
Oh,
the draft,
gosh.
and he's going to draft himself as Mr. Irrelevant. It's going to be great
That's awesome.
at 14. But Washington is not a good team. I mean, going up and down the depth chart, Don, like, who?
We
Like,
win.
who can match up? Like,
We win at every position.
and we've seen this. We've seen this Washington team. Okay, Jaden Daniels was banged up. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
We're going to go down there. If we can dismantle Baltimore
And
and Pittsburgh with ease, I'm not worried about you. Like, you can't. They're not even in the same conversation as
No.
the best teams that we beat. They are in the conversation of a young, growing team with a quarterback of the future, not a quarterback of right now. Been playing well, yes. Doesn't turn the ball over too well. Can run. Love to hear that. But when he's got the ball with the game on the line, that dude's going to choke. But he's not even going to have the ball with the game on the line.
Yeah.
Eagles are going to start off with a touchdown. They're going to get in a groove, and then they're just going to pound the rock and do what they did. I am not worried about this game. 33-12. Washington is just going to be dismantled. Brian Robinson is going to basically eat a lot of crow after his comments that are made, and you're going to have CJGJ saying some real funny shit after the game. So I'm looking for
I love it.
Are
here
we
for
the best team? Are we the best team in the league right now?
I mean, I got to imagine that right now with the way that the how banged up Detroit is, it's hard to not put them in that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a great position, right? They're in a great position to be one of the I would say one of the 3 or 4 teams that you would consider for the Super Bowl, and that's where you want them to be.
What
So my
team-
final
what is this the hardest time you think if they playing each other?
Kansas City.
What team would we have time with?
I mean,
Right now.
right now, listen, I think that the way that I'm thinking about this, Joe, they got to play us.
Yep.
They got to play us. Like bring your A game, bring your best, but they got to play us, right?
Yep.
Like Minnesota's defense is great. You got to come here and play us, right? Detroit, your defense is like your third, your fourth, your practice squad guys. Like, you got injuries all over the place, right? But you got to come and play. You got to play us. You got to beat us. And that's the mentality I think that this team has. They don't care where you're playing. They don't care who they're playing. Like you got to come here and beat us. And until and all this nonsense about, oh, well, like you got to get a loss out of the way before the play. No, I want to be, I want to be a wagon going into this playoffs going, nobody's touched us. Nobody's touched us since Tampa. And this is the team that's playing right now isn't even close to the team that was in Tampa. And you gotta come here and play us. So
losing Godwin definitely hurt them. So,
bring your dogs. Bring your whatever, right? You're scared. Bring your dog. I don't give a shit. But like, you got to come here and play us. Good luck.
Yep, and that's the mantra and the mentality since they've been on a roll, and they've walked it, and goddamn, they're walking it and talking it, and that's where we are. Come on,
Walk it like I talk
bring it on.
Walk it like I talk it.
Come on, Don. Come on.
Walk
Let's
it
go.
like I talk.
Come
Hey,
on.
walk it like
Walk
I
it
talk.
like a talk.
Hey, walk it like I talk it. Hey, walk it like I
Hey,
talk it.
hey,
Hey, hey, hey, hey. You got final thoughts?
hey,
Final thoughts: Christmas time. Enjoy it. Love your family. Love your friends. Be kind and just enjoy it. Magical time of year. It comes and goes so quick. But yeah,
Yeah,
Merry Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas to our listeners. Merry Christmas to everybody around there. Happy holidays to whatever you celebrate. Just keep going out there and being kind. But yeah, that's
that's
it.
it.
It's all about Christmas.
hey. Yeah, pretty
That's
much
it.
jumping off of what Rich said. Same thing. If your family, your friends, your loved ones, young and old, your pets. Especially our situation. We lost the one dog last month, and then our other dog is sick. So this is probably going to be his last holiday with us. So yeah, just love on your animals, love on your family, love on your friends. Try to help out the people that are less fortunate if you're able to do that. Just kindness, random acts of kindness go a long way. Um, but yeah, just enjoy this time. Enjoy these. It's not what you do; it's who you do it with. You
Okay.
don't do anything fancy. You don't have to do anything lavish. It's just spending that time and making people realize and see and appreciate just the time that you spend with them. Um,
Most definitely.
so I mean that's it. That's really what I mean. It should be like that year round, but especially on the holidays, you really wrap it up in a bow and just celebrate each other and the time you have together.
Most definitely. Gentlemen.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
And
and happy holidays. And
holidays.
birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds!
Go birds.
Woo!
And the snow is glistening on the trees outside.